Hello, everybody. Welcome to the start of our brand new podcast with me, Kara Burrell.
And myself, Ryan Fisher.
You might know me, Kara Burrell, or the Nuancehoe from my YouTube channel, but me and Ryan have decided to partner up and start a brand new podcast coming at you every week called Timmy Did What?
Timmy did what?
What did Timmy know? No, Timmy, no.
We're still working on the inflection. We'll figure it out.
All I know is that Timmy's done enough, but we need to talk about what Timmy has done. We have been really interested in this Tim Ballard saga for a long time, wanting to support the women and the victims of Tim Ballard speaking up and raising our voices. So we decided to dedicate a weekly podcast called Timmy Did What?
We have a hard time covering it ourselves, but that's why we're here for you, to sort through all of the claims, counterclaims, the war of information, to get down to what's actually going on in this saga that's going to go on for a very long time, with all the litigation, all the claims, all the movies being made, and the celebrity ship surrounding this guy.
Wherever you listen to your podcasts under Timmy Did What?
What?
You might think it's too niche, but we just want to talk about what Timmy did and what he's doing.
And not doing.
Oh, you are insiders that we have lined up. Ryan, yourself, you are a former good friend of Tim's, former business partner, filmmaker yourself. So Ryan adds a ton of amazing context.
There are many people out there that have an important story to tell, and we wanted to provide a landing space, a safe space to tell those stories regarding this, to try and cut through the BS.
Right.
And people that I know and people that I don't know. We want to create a space for those stories to be told from people around the world that were left in the wake of destruction and chaos that was left behind by some of these operations. And so we provided that space because we couldn't find it anywhere else. And we also want to support the women and their battle against this war of information and the lawyers that are trying to disgrace and ruin their lives. And we want to provide a counterclaims to the accusations being hurled at them and cut through all of it. And we're going to do analysis for all of that. We're going to bring you very exclusive information that our sources have provided to us that really shed some huge spotlights on what's going on. And there's twists and turns that have left me shocked and in awe at this whole saga, and we're excited to bring those to you too.
A typical conversation through text message of me and Ryan when we're getting ready for an episode is, oh my gosh, I got my hands on this piece of evidence. And then me going, OMG, OMG, yay, 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 oh my gosh, we're going to nail Tim Ballard to the wall. So that is our insight. That's the behind the scenes. So we're so excited to launch this podcast and let you guys in on all of this evidence and stories that we have been collecting for months now. Mm-hmm. So excited that you guys are here. Mm-hmm. If you want to get even more exclusive, like behind the scenes, more Q&A kind of stuff, we're starting a Patreon. It'd be so meaningful to have monthly donations come in so that we can do this as our job. We can keep like a journalistic lens on all of this and keep the information coming. So please support our Patreon. Scroll down. It's just be a couple bucks a month. We'll have Q&As. What else can people expect on our Patreon?
Oh man, we're going to have some really fun discussions. Rumor mill. There are a lot of rumors surrounding everything regarding hair, and those aren't things that we're necessarily talk about in the regular podcast, because they're rumors and accusations and conspiracy theories they abound in this space. And so we're going to discuss all that fun stuff, as well as Q&As with our Patreon subscribers. You get direct access to us and ask the questions that you want to know the answers to, and we're going to do our best to answer those too.
Right on. And then another really exciting thing is, so Ryan, you have actually added your voice to the lawsuit. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I'm issued an affidavit and am a witness in one of the cases, and that's taking place in Cartagena, Colombia. And I'm excited to tell you about the progress of that case and what this means for the lives of the woman that was involved, and get down to the truth of what happened on this operation that will shed light on so many other things, on other operations, and the accuracy, or as some would say, the fraudulent claims of the Sound of Freedom movie, which people need to be aware of. The millions of people that watch that movie need to be aware of.
Mm-hmm. And if we are two people who genuinely, we care about the lives of men, women, children, being able to live outside of the confines of slavery or abuse of any kind of exploitation, Tim Ballard is very heavily accused of being a perpetrator of all of the things that he claims to be stopping, with millions of dollars in his backing, with a church and a lot of structures in place within the state of Utah. These are all gigantic systems that Ryan and I are taking on. So we don't jump into this lightly. We have a lot of evidence and a lot of stories and a lot of people behind us, but we also need you guys, and not just the way that the average viewer can support this podcast and this channel, but also we need more people like Ryan who are willing to put themselves out there, put themselves at risk, and actually band together, because the more voices that come together, the more strength people feel that they can also lend their voice. So if you want to get in touch with us to be one of the people that we interview on our upcoming podcasts, you can reach out at the email below, but it's absolutely important that the different victims and different people who know what's going on behind the scenes can all work together to get the victims of Tim Ballard justice and shed light on this whole situation, despite the lies that Tim has been spinning. Yeah,
there are important stories out there that, and I know personally many people that have been intimidated into remaining silent.
Like people's tires being slashed?
Like lives being threatened, and careers
lives of tires?
Careers and reputations, not of tires, but of other things that have been, it's scary.
So if the tires are being slashed, that's kind of like a symbol that you're next, is what I'm trying to say. People's tires have been slashed, is all I'm trying to say.
You care a lot about tires, huh?
I'm caring about, it's been spooky. I've spent I spent the summer away working at this summer camp, and I literally was like, when I go home, I'm asking for a death wish here, because there's a lot of things in the background going on that over time will come out.
But fortunately, if we have a safe place like this to tell your story, and enough of us tell our story, then the truth can be figured out. And none of us individually, which are weak and vulnerable on an individual basis, have to stand alone. We don't want the women to stand alone. And so if you have a story to tell in this space, then please reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you, interview you, and help cut down to what actually has happened and what's going on in this saga.
Right, just shedding light. Sunlight, the best disinfectant of all. So we're really trying to do this for the women who need support. So anytime that you can, it's not for us or for the algorithm, please leave your comments that you believe the women, that you're supporting the women, that you understand the lies that Tim is spinning, that you see through them, and that you know that they're not alone and that they can count on you, because they have just been to hell and back for a cause that they signed up for, to do something very noble, to end the cause of sex trafficking, but ended up being its own kind of sacrifice on the altar of Tim Ballard's ego and fame and money raising and things. So we have an insane amount of evidence that you will not see anywhere else. Like I said, things make me and Ryan, our jaws drop on a minute-to-minute basis with the things that we're getting our hands on. So we're going to be releasing as many podcasts as we possibly can, because there's nothing more important to me than standing up for people of all shapes and sizes and all backgrounds who are victims, whatever systems that they come from. So if you want to support the women, please leave your comments of love and encouragement to keep going below. I made an Instagram post and a YouTube community post a couple days ago, after the first time that I got to meet them and hug them after working on my YouTube channel, sharing the different amendments to the lawsuit, and these women are absolutely my heroes. They've been to hell and back, and putting my arms around them, letting them know that I'm gonna do this podcast with or without your support, but it'd be nicer with. It's really important to me to make good on that promise. So I'd love if you can come on this ride with us as we go. Timmy did what?
Timmy did what?
Why, Timmy? Stop it, Timmy. We don't want to know any more of the what that you did. What's what in
What is a lot of things.
The what of it? It's gonna fill 2 years of
at least.
And finally, a lot of our fundraising that we're hoping to do is to work towards a documentary that we're in the process of making as we collect interviews and evidence. So as Ryan and I work together on this documentary, we're just going to keep the funding going and the information going with this YouTube channel. send this to Columbia.
Hopefully, we're launching this right now in the nick of time, hopefully to get some funding because we yeah. So if you are interested in supporting our journalism and analysis in this, we'd so appreciate it. Kelly Suarez case in Cartagena, Colombia is happening this month, and we want to go to Colombia and interview Kelly. So we need some support to make those kind of interviews possible. So please consider helping us get to the places where these stories happened, and we'd sure appreciate the support.
So you might know me from my time co-hosting over at Mormon Stories Podcast with John DeLynn, and then I moved into doing my own YouTube channel here, and I also started my own nonprofit, which I'm really proud of, last year. It's called the thenuancehoe Foundation, and we're going to be doing a lot of different community building things and disseminating different information, and it's been a big help at funding my podcast and content for the last little while. But now that Ryan and I are moving into working on this documentary together about Tim Ballard and this channel, and hopefully being able to really go on location and travel to places like Colombia to interview people and do some real investigative journalistic work, I'm really hoping that this is the time for my nonprofit to shine, when people can make donations, large or small. Monthly donations would be amazing. Recurring donations that come in every month that I can count on, that we can fund this podcast and keep everything running and pay ourselves a little bit as well. It would be amazing if we could have some good donations come into the nonprofit. The links are down below for the donor box, and all donations are actually tax deductible in the United States. So I'm really happy with my board and everything that I've been able to work on over the past year. So transitioning into this and just standing up for the women, exposing this rabbit hole, shining light on this whole situation. So helpful to know that we can have a future set out, that we can keep the lights on and keep doing this for a long time. But for people who don't know you, Ryan, briefly, who are you? What is your relationship to Tim Ballard, and why should people tune in?
I've worked for Fox, CBS, NBC News in the past, and so I have journalism in my blood, and I love it, and I love uncovering the truth, especially telling stories that nobody else has access to or knows about. And call it fate, call it what you will, I found myself becoming friends and business associates with Tim early on before OUR, and I had a front row seat to the rise of his career and celebrityship, and had the opportunity to meet a lot of people and work with a lot of people that were involved in founding OUR, in the American Covenant tours, in his books, and in the LDS Church. And so I found myself just thrust into the front row of watching this. I didn't know it was going to evolve into something so controversial and that would make national news later on. And so now I can go back, deconstruct what happened to me, my experience, and reach out to all the people that I know that had a front row seat as well, and hopefully bring them on and get their stories told as well.
I think you guys are going to love me and Ryan partnering together. I've had so much fun already, especially naming this podcast was a lot of belly laughs, because when we're talking about something so serious, I don't bring as much cool journalism to the table. I wanted to name it something that kind of got us laughing, even though it's a dark subject about all kinds of things that will have plenty of trigger warnings as we go through them. My background is that I started off as a stand-up comedian when I was 19, got married in the Mormon Church, messed around doing that kind of stuff in LA for a while.
The thing that caused me to reach out to you in the first place was you see through the BS, where there's so many people that read the headlines and they believe them, and they think that there isn't nuance to the story, there isn't ambiguity, or there isn't controversy, or a complete fabrication when they read the headlines. But you were one of the few people that saw through all that, and I was like, yes, somebody gets it. I'm not the only one, you get it. And so I'm super excited to partner with Kara and have a like mind to dive in and focus on the analysis of all this information. Stay tuned. This is going to be a wild ride, and it's going to have twists and turns all across the board, but it's going to be interesting, and we're not going to leave you hanging with a boring podcast whatsoever.
I have something that I have to tell you. Come here.
Timmy did what?
You have to find out next time on another episode of Timmy Did What.